Market Monday, we are back. Super Bowl Part 2. We got, I would say, actually say a good bunch of stuff to go over in today's video. Let's begin with the content schedule. Nothing too crazy. There's a lot of stuff on the content schedule, but like I always say, there's a lot of fluff on the content schedule. Two Good Morning Maddens on the same day that are going to reveal roster revolution Wednesday morning and then Wednesday evening. We're getting Super Bowl past reveals. We actually do not have the player names, no leaks for Super Bowl release number 2. Although actually in this video, I want to go over my predictions for the Eagles and the Chiefs champions and LTDs. Today, we got a bit of I don't know how to say it. We got a lot of stuff today, but it's just stuff, aka icons, to go over Black History Month, which was really, really underwhelming. Team Captain Release 7, which I actually have not looked into. I'm guessing we get a +1 overall to our team captains. Super Bowl Release 1.5, which was 2 cards. Roster Revolution, which we do know the players for that, on Wednesday. Of course, Super Bowl Release 2 on Thursday, the present part of the Super Bowl content. And then a legend. So let's go over to About Leaks real quick and just go over the stuff that we actually got today. First up, this is actually from last week, or a little like in between my last video. There are going to be like in-game incentives for Super Bowl present champions. So I assume there'll be like statistical ones. Let's say, for example, Jalen Hurts, right, passes for 200 plus yards. He'll get an AP discount. Maybe his gunslinger goes from 2 AP to 1 AP. Something like that could be very, very interesting as long as they make them reasonable. We know EA in the past, when they've done in-game incentives for a player to get like a stat boost or a discounted ability, they're a little bit outlandish. They'll be like, Patrick Mahomes to rush for 85 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, come on, man. He's not going to get that one-in-a-lifetime game. Or when they used to do the coin things, like, you would kind of gamble on, like, which things would happen. To be like, Chiefs and Eagles to both score over 50 points and you get 100,000 coins. It was like, come on, man. What are we doing here? But yeah, we'll see how interesting that is. We'll know probably Wednesday night how that all is going to work. And then, yeah, we'll see the cards on Thursday. Your legends for this weekend: Tim Tebow, Levon Kirkland, and then we don't know the LTD. Tim Tebow, unfortunately, is a lefty. If you're a big Tim Tebow fan, probably really good discounted abilities, but lefties in this game, there's a reason they made Michael Vick have a right-handed version, so that lefties become really, really immobile. They might as well have 70 speed. And of course, Tim Tebow, very mobile quarterback. Frustrating that you're not able to roll out to the right with him. Roster evolutions for this week. At least the champions. We don't know the LTDs. Keenan Allen, Gerald Everett, Cam Taylor-Britt, Trayvon Moehrig. We'll see now that they're 95 overall. Maybe they're a little bit more generous with the speed, but I'm assuming Keenan Allen's going to have like 93 speed because he's Keenan Allen. He's 35 years old. Another thing with Super Bowl content, I wish they actually did this just starting last week. I don't know why they waited until this week to start this whole thing. It's like the promo literally is only going to last 6 days. But there's going to be a strategy item that does give +1 speed to all Super Bowl players, past and present. There will also be like motivator stuff that will boost only Eagles and Chiefs players and the Super Bowl present players. So, I mean, cool, I guess, little 6-day boost, but would have been nice to see that for the entirety of the Super Bowl program. Although these cards don't really need Super Bowl speed boosts, they're already the fastest cards in the game. And then this is a Super Bowl present tease. Really just goes over there's going to be 8 total champions and 4 LTDs. Of course, the 10 cards or the 12 cards are going to be split between the Eagles and the Chiefs. And then the suspected mystery players we'll talk about a bit in this video. The mystery quarterback is supposedly Tom Brady. Mystery corner is Ty Law. Mystery running back is Marcus Allen. And mystery left outside linebacker is Von Miller. So that is all the leaks. That is the content schedule. Let's now get into the actual game. If you want extended coverage of the market and how I make my coins, subscribe to the Coin Bible exclusively on Team Get Lucky. Link in the description. All right, quickly, I just want to go over the content we saw today and my thoughts on it. The AK icons. Definitely an underwhelming release. Joe Alt and Max Crosby, so 2 players from the AFC West. Max Crosby, I'll go over his LTD. I actually didn't even look this card up. I'm assuming he's at least 2 mil. Oh, he's actually only 1.1 mil. It's probably because he's not that good. 91 speed, his 90 overall most feared card, 88 speed. So +6 overall, only +3 speed. Really, really underwhelming there. And ability-wise, he's nothing that crazy. Fearmonger is just not that good of an X factor. No Outsiders for 0 is cool, and then El Toro for 1. You actually, this is like one card I would say you can roll with the non-LTD, and it's not that big of a deal. You lose 1 speed, and the only AP discount on him is Fearmonger for 1 less AP. The No Outsiders and the El Toro are still 0 and 1 AP, so you can kind of get the full benefits of this AKA card without having to pay for the LTD. That's probably why the LTD actually is only 1.1 mil. And then Joe Alt, I guess cool little right tackle. I don't know. We're probably going to get a Lane Johnson for the Super Bowl promo. I would assume his last card was a 0 Chill 93. He gets all day for 0, Identifier for 1, Run Protector for 1. So honestly, pretty good card there. But overall, the AK market is down significantly today, mainly just because Max Crosby, Joe Alt are not that good. They're not going for a lot, so the 92 AK icons are definitely pretty cheap. We also saw Ronnie Hickman drop around 200,000 coins, as well as the other 94s. They dropped a good amount too. Sauce Gardner 240. Looks like Jawan Jennings 250k. So AK content, honestly, really underwhelming week, but it was kind of good and needed almost for the AKA market, I would say. Your Super Bowl cards, we only got 2 of them today, Herb Adderley and Deion Sanders. Herb Adderley is an interesting card. He has a place in the meta. It's called the slot cornerback position. I think this is a very unique ability setup. Now, Bottleneck is a really, really intriguing ability / X factor to have the entire game. The problem is man coverage is just piss poor. It's dog shit in this game. And maybe this card, like down the line of man coverage, ever becomes really, really good ability-wise. This card comes back into the meta because Bottleneck kind of took over the meta at the end of Madden 24. My man coverage right now just is not good enough to run, so Bottleneck is kind of irrelevant in my opinion. As for these other 2 abilities, Pick Artist and Flat Zone is interesting because you could run Flat Zone for 0, only 0 AP Flat Zone in the game, and of course you can get Pick Artist just in the other buckets for 0 AP, so he's the only player in the game that could get the Flat Zone and Pick Artist combo for 0 AP, which is really good in the slot. I honestly would probably recommend also throwing on a Mid Zone KO for 1, so Flat Zone, Mid Zone, and Pick Artist for 1 AP in the slot makes him kind of for the best slot in the game. We'll also have 97 speed if you power him up correctly. So overall, a really, really good DB. Kind of is limited. I won't really say he's like the greatest outside or top safety, but again, slot corner. He's probably the best slot corner now in the game. And then wide receiver Tihan, I'll be honest, interesting card to release because we literally just got one a month ago that was actually still fine. It was used by people. He pretty much just got a +2 speed boost, and then his ability setup is very similar to Reggie Wayne, where he gets red zone threat for 0 AP, yak him up for 4, jukebox for 0. He's quite literally Reggie Wayne. I'm pretty sure it's the same abilities, like almost same stats across the board. I guess he's just a part of more theme teams. So Super Bowl cards, of course, as they come, are going to be really, really good, but we only got 2 of them today, so it's not overwhelming amount of content there. We'll see if they have any more, because it kind of says out of position on the Super Bowl like card art thing instead of pass, so we'll see if we get any other out of position cards. The other content we got today was Black History Month, and I don't know why, but for some reason on Twitter yesterday, people were gassing up Black History Month content, and I kind of chuckled. I'm like, y'all realize that, one, these cards are no way in hell gonna get good abilities, right? And especially Champ Bailey being like the best one out of the bunch. I'm like, if they give him a 0 AP ability, I will be shocked. And then 2, and I actually haven't even confirmed this, but I'm pretty sure this is the case, or maybe you could upgrade one fully, but I'm pretty sure like you're not going to fully upgrade these cards right away. Don't quote me on that. I have no clue. I've been a bad content creator. I've not even looked at the solo challenges. But all I did was, the first thing I did for Champ Bailey is, 1, he's not on all 32 theme teams, which they used to do. I think he has 95 speed, which ain't bad, right? That's playable. But I went right to the discounted abilities. And I saw Pick Artist for 1 and Medium Route KO for 2. And I'm like, yeah, this card's good for like those that are literally picking up the game yesterday and like need a corner fast. But anybody that plays this game can like, there are corners that you can buy for like 100k that are better than this Champ Bailey. And coins, surprisingly, are like not the worrisome for pretty much, I feel like every single MUT player. Coins are not a problem in this game. Like people have coins, just that the best cards in this game go for outrageous prices. But like you can replace this Champ Bailey with like a 100 to 150k. Not like Rondé Barber, for example, 93 speed on a ton of, I think he's on a decent amount of theme teams. I'm not, actually, no, he might only be on one theme team. I might be wrong there, but you can find a a Champ Bailey Black History Month replacement for like 150k. It's not that, dude. That's like 30 minutes of a certain solo chain in Madden 25. So Black History Month content had been kind of good the past few years. I feel like they had like a year we had all 32 team chems. Even the the Hispanic Heritage Month cards this year were really, really good. They got like a strategy card that gave +1 speed, and they actually weren't that bad. But these BHM cards are just, it's like this was like one of those content drops where it was like, we're forced to do this with like our partnership with the NFL. Like, we're just gonna throw y'all 5 cards that we know the player base is hardly gonna be interested in. We can't make money off this program, so we're gonna put the least amount of effort in to that content. That's how I see it. That's your content for today. A lot of promos, not a lot of really relevant cards, in my opinion. Now let's get into the bulk of this video, what I'm going to talk about. Let's go to mystery cards first. So, mystery cards, if you guys are unaware, it's actually a really cool concept. I'll give EA credit. They've been very uncreative with their content the past 3 years, I would say. Just no creativity, no imagination whatsoever. I'll give credit. This is the coolest idea, in my opinion, since like mystery packs. I'm missing one. There was one other cool idea they did. I think it might have been last year that someone told me like, yeah, that was a really, really cool idea. But these things are really cool. Now, I will say you don't want to buy them right now. You're going to want to wait until Thursday. Pretty much a majority of these 78 overall guys were actually under 300k last Thursday, this previous Thursday when packs were being opened. So I assume they're going to go back down under 300k when people are opening up all the offers, the bundles, the rerolls, for example. So mystery players will definitely be at their cheapest this Thursday. And then how the whole system works, they are going to become 95 overall champions on the Tuesday after the Super Bowl. There are 4 different versions of each position, and they all kind of have a theme to them. So the pink ones, I believe, are like pretty much the baked on ability cards. If you go click on the card, it will say, yeah, it's pretty much a ton of baked on super discounts, but you're not able to take them off. You're not able to put any other abilities on. It's kind of like you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit, and you hope that that player has an ability kind of combination that you want for your team. Personally, I'm not a fan of that. I think they're probably the worst ones altogether. We have the blue ones, which are probably the most expensive ones other than the orange ones. The blue ones, think of the blue ones as like a stock champion, or basically actually an LTD the way they're structured. They get 3 discounted ability buckets. It's essentially what an LTD gets right now with the Super Bowl program. They get no like super discount at the end of their like thing, like no X factor, but 3 discounted buckets. It'll make for a good card, right? Like the defensive back blue version is really, really good. The quarterback blue version is really, really good because the quarterback and a DB, you need multiple discounted abilities for them to kind of be usable right now within the meta. You have the orange version, which is like the team chem version. They're going to get every single team chem, and they're going to get ×3 of that team chem. So literally ×3 of whatever team chem you want. So automatically, all these cards will have at minimum +1 speed for your team, which is really, really cool as long as you run a 20 out of 20 theme team, potentially +2 speed if you run a 40 out of 40 theme team. I think, honestly, the orange ones, in my opinion, are a bit overrated because they only get, I believe, 1 discounted ability bucket. So I don't think, like, the defensive back orange one is really relevant because DBs at this point of the game, you need abilities for them. So that one is kind of like, you know, it's like, yeah, you might have 99 speed, but if you don't have a zone KO on the card, dog, you aren't playing, right? If you understand the game. And then same with the quarterback. Like, dude, you got to run Gunslinger, Master Attack, right? At minimum, that's already 2 abilities. You only get 1 discounted ability. Or I think you only get 1 other bucket or something like that. So I don't think the quarterback orange version is very good either. Running back and outside linebacker, you know, that's actually not that bad because you're not really putting many abilities on that position, and getting, you know, potentially +2 speed on that is actually a pretty good card. So, you know, the orange versions there. Orange and blue versions are definitely the most expensive of the bunch. Now, the green versions, I personally think are the best. And the reason I say that, and they're actually kind of also the cheapest. And the reason I say this, let me actually get an example of the running back version. So the green version is, if you read the description, it says, X Factor champion, unstoppable X Factors that start on. Well, the thing about that statement is X Factors that start on, so they're prelets. Well, the description of an unstoppable X Factor is the ability cannot be deactivated. So what this says in the description to me is They're pretty much going to have a pre-lit X Factor on the entire game. You're not going to be able to knock them out of that X Factor. As long as the X Factor is good, and it also says X Factors. Should be multiple options. Yeah, you're going to have an X Factor on the entire game. Now, it doesn't get another ability bucket, but for a position like running back, dude, this running back might have Freight Train on the entire game. And if it's for like 2 or 3 AP, that's completely worth it. It might only be for, I mean, the X Factors for Super Bowl cards are only 1 and 2 AP. Some are even 0. So this running back might potentially be the first like Freight Train on the entire game running back in the game. I mean, that sounds to me pretty crazy. Again, look up the benefit, like go to the unstoppable players we got this year. Look up their you can't deactivate an unstoppable X Factor. Once you earn it, you can't deactivate it. And the fact they start on kind of ties together like, oh, it's an X Factor that starts on and can never be deactivated. That's what that means to me in the description. Also, for example, like an outside linebacker, unstoppable force on for the entire game, potentially at 1, 2, or 3 AP or 0 AP, depending on how much it costs. Again, that sounds like the best version of the outside linebacker to me. That sounds like the best running back version to me is the green one. And the DB one also, now quarterback, I wouldn't really say it's the best quarterback version because, again, you need multiple ability buckets, and that's just not going to fly with the quarterback. There's not an X factor they get, other than maybe Omaha on the entire game, which, I mean, that would just ruin the game at that point, so hopefully EA has some self-awareness on that. The cornerback version of the green one, too, is very interesting because if you're able to get universal coverage on for the entire game, that's everything. I will pay literally up to like 5 AP for universal coverage, so I think personally, I think people are going about this completely wrong. I think the green version is the best version of these cards. It has the most potential. If what is in the description is what I'm understanding it to be, and that's what it is, the left outside linebacker, the running back, and the cornerback version of the green ones are like going to be night and day the best versions of these mystery players. And overall, again, I think they did a great job with this kind of concept and idea. Again, you'll probably be able to get most of these except for the blue ones maybe for like 300k, like no more than 400k come Thursday because that's what they were last Thursday. And I mean, shit, they're a 95 overall Super Bowl card, and they are seemingly new players. And again, you go look at 95 overall Super Bowl cards. You know, there's Reggie Wayne at 500k. I mean, that's 500k. The next cheapest ones are 600k. So automatically, they're the cheapest 95 overall champions, if you want to call them that. You know, by multiple hundreds of thousands of coins. So at that point, even there are a discount. So definitely something you might want to look into. And again, if you want to pick up whatever version you're most interested in, you know, come the following week when they actually go up to 95 overall, make sure you buy them this upcoming Thursday. All right, and last thing I wanted to go over was some Super Bowl present predictions, because, well, we know the two teams that are in the Super Bowl. We know how many champions, how many LTDs we are going to get. Now, I'll be honest, for the Eagles, I need my Eagles fans to kind of tell me who is most deserving of some cards. I think the player that is the lock, right? The lock of the century for the Eagles probably ends up getting an LTD is Jalen Hurts. He has not had a card yet since this 90 overall. I honestly think if the Eagles win, it's probably going to be a Super Bowl MVP of Saquon Barkley and not Jalen Hurts. So I think EA, and we also have seen, like, they dropped a Pat Mahomes last year, like 96 overall, as well as a Brock Purdy. They probably would have been, they were the respective Super Bowl MVP winners, had their teams won. Pat got a 96 and then a 99 overall card. So I think if they're going to choose between Mahomes or Hurts to get like a 95 or a 96 to start the program, it's going to be Jalen Hurts. I think he's a lock to get a card. The other player I think that is a lock for the Eagles is Devontae Smith. Of course, A.J. Brown just recently got the 94 overall card we were able to earn through the Super Bowl event, but Devontae Smith has not had a card for some time. I don't even know when the last time he had a card in-game. I think Devontae Smith is a lock to get a champion or an LTD. As for O-lineman, saw an Eagles fan on Twitter say Jordan Mailata is overdue for a card, and that definitely looks to be the case, and only an 87 overall. One of the best left tackles, best stories really in the NFL, coming from being a rugby player now as a world-class left tackle. Other than that, I'm pretty sure Cam Jurgens got the A card. Lane Johnson potentially could get a card, but he has a 93-0 chill. Mekhi Becton had a playoff card. I don't know if Landon Dickerson definitely overdue for a card, but would they give the Eagles 2 offensive linemen? I don't know. Maybe potentially Landon Dickerson gets like a 92 overall card. Definitely could see something like that. As for the defense side of the ball, I think the main one, I know Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter had the 93 overall stocking stuffer. I bet one of the best D tackles in the league. I think he can easily get a 95 or 96 overall. Zach Bond, I think, did he get a card recent? No, he did get a card recently. No, it was a Kobe Dean. Yeah, Zach Bond. Or did we? No, Zach Bond got a card. I swear Zach Bond got a card. Is it like outside linebacker? Is he left outside linebacker? I thought someone, I swear they gave him like run stopper or something. Yeah, they gave him like, yeah, he did get a card. So Zach Bond, not getting a card. He has a 94 overall. Let me know. Oh my God. I forgot the most obvious one out of them all. Quinyon Mitchell. I forgot his name. I was like going to say his nickname. Quinyon Mitchell, man. Maybe they're saving him for like team of the year, but my God, he is so overdue for a card. It's not even funny. Yeah, Darius Slay has gotten a card. Cooper DeJean has gotten a card. Quinyon Mitchell is like 1,000,000,000% getting a Super Bowl card. He just is. And then for safety, C.J. Gardner-Johnson got a card recently. Maybe Blankenship. I know he had like a 90-ish overall. Safety, 89 overall is his last card. Maybe Blankenship sneaks in there to get a champion. But yeah, if I had to give my predictions at this point, or no, Blankenship has a 94. I stand corrected. I'd say Jalen Hurts. Give me Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Jordan Mailata. Give me Jalen Carter. Give me Quinyon Mitchell. That's 5. And hey, give me Landon Dickerson 6. Those I think are the most 6 deserving Eagles to get either champions or LTDs. As for the Chiefs, a little bit easier because I've kept track, I would say, of who's gotten good cards this year and also who's been playing good for the Chiefs. So first up, I don't know who it's going to be. One of these two is going to get a card. It's either Kareem Hunt or Isaiah Pacheco. I would prefer to be Kareem Hunt because he has been the better running back for us this year. But Isaiah Pacheco is the more overdue player, having only an 89 overall, where Kareem Hunt has a 90 overall. I wouldn't be mad with either. I actually think Kareem Hunt has been the clear-cut better running back for us this year. Wide receiver-wise, we don't really have anybody like too crazy. I think, was it Marquise? Did Hollywood get a... Yeah, Hollywood got a playoff card, but only 88 overall. Like, Juju is kind of overdue for a card, but I don't know if they give him a champion. Potentially, I'd love to say Rashee Rice, but, he's hurt, so I don't think they would do that for him. We probably don't get a receiver just because we're getting Devontae Smith. Kelsey, you can argue it. He has a 93. I could see them maybe potentially waiting on him getting a tribute card if he retires, so I'm going to say Kelsey that gets a card. I'm going to say for offensively, I'm going to say Kelsey. We'll say Kareem Hunt, and then offensive lineman-wise, I think Trey Smith is a mortal lock, unless EA has a plan to save him potentially for the free agency promo, because he'll be a lock for that promo too. I don't think there really is another lineman that they can do. I mean, Juwan Taylor is Juwan Taylor, I think, had the playoff upgradable card, if I'm not mistaken. Creed Humphrey had the 90. Yeah, he has a 94. Joe Tooney has the playoff card, and then we don't really have a left tackle. So Trey Smith really is the only lineman that I would say like is overdue for a card. So those who I would say are the players on offense. If I were to lean for an LTD, I'd probably go Travis Kelce just because he already has a 93 overall. As for the defense, there's a few options, few players that like have outdated cards. Nick Bolton. Actually, no, Nick Bolton has a 94. Why did I think Nick Bolton did not have a card? Chris Jones. Chris Jones is like the most overdue player, I would say, in the Chiefs. His highest overall card is a 91 overall. Most feared LTD. He is a locked data card. Probably ends up getting one of those two Chief LTDs. As for defensive ends, George Karlaftis, I believe, actually got a roster revolution card. I want to say recently. I'm 99% sure that he got a card recently. Dare I say Leo Chanel? He got multiple cards very early on in the year, right? Had the 85, had the 89 or 88 overall most feared. He's a little bit overdue. The player I most want to get a card on the Chiefs side of the ball is safety Jaden Hicks, rookie, has really come on for us late the second half of the year, is getting more and more snaps. I don't believe he has a card this year. He might not even have a base card. He's a stud, man. Like 6'3", human specimen, fast. Gonna be a great player for us in the coming years. He probably gets a card. It's not going to be a champion, but he would be like the darling. Like Quinyon Mitchell and Jaden Hicks are both like 6'3", 6'4", really, really tall and really, really fast DBs. They would be excellent cards for the meta that I hope would get. I also, I guess you could say, maybe we get a Jalen Watson Last year, Joshua Williams, I believe, was like what he was like the best Super Bowl card or one of the better Super Bowl cards last year when Chiefs got content, or was it Jalen Watson? Forget who got the Super Bowl card last year. It was a 95 overall DB. It was one of the two, but I guess Josh Williams is 91. So yeah, Jalen Watson really, I guess, would say is the defensive back that is overdue for a card. So I guess defensively, give me Chris Jones, give me Jaden Hicks, and give me Jalen Watson. And give Chris Jones be the LTD. And I guess those would be my predictions. 12 total players, 12 deserving players. You make EA a lot of money, I think, if they chose those players. But we'll have to wait and see. What we get. We're probably gonna get the leaks, or yeah, we're gonna get the leaks probably tomorrow. We'll know who the players are. But if you're watching this before then, we'll see how my predictions line up. Hopefully, I go 12 for 12. But that is all for Markham Monday. What we went over mystery players, went over the content today, and I went over my Super Bowl present predictions. See y'all potentially later on this week. I don't know yet. And yeah, until then, peace.